What up, everyone? We've got the last box of the month, Arcade Block. And this box is always trouble because it comes so incredibly late. For those of you who don't know, I'm on the West Coast, but not just on the West Coast, the Southwest Coast. And this box either comes from Canada or from New York. It's usually like that Buffalo area, somewhere up there. But it's literally just about as far as you can get away from where I am in the continental U.S. So that's why this box always comes so late. It ships at the very end of the month, and it takes like 2 weeks to get to me being shipped. So it just got here. The boxes of January showed up the same time as this box. That's how late it comes. Anyway, hopefully I can move right along and not get too far behind in January and try to get caught up. But for the time being, let's see what we got in this month's box. So this is one of the few boxes I'm actually going to keep from this company because they've always been pretty good. I've always been pretty happy with the things they've given. But let's see what we got in this month. And just take a look. Obviously we have a Shirt Punch t-shirt. Let's take a look at this shirt. See what we got. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. So, I actually don't know this reference. How embarrassing. I'll have to look that up. I'm sure it's on the card. This is the only downside to me doing live unboxings. I don't know some stuff. And the Arcade Block is one where I'm not always going to know everything. I'm not a huge gamer. I definitely play games. I definitely know them, but I'm not super into it, so I do not get this reference. Shit! So I will have to wait to give that a review until I do my normal research, and then I'll come back and give that a rating in part 2 of the video, aka the review. Then, let's see what else we got in here in the meantime. Hopefully not more stuff that I don't know about. Alrighty, oh, we got some Titans figures, and this looks like it's from The Last of Us, which I heard was a really great game. I heard good things about it. I saw the trailer for it a while ago, and it looked pretty cool. And yeah, so I wish I had played it. I'd be more familiar with these characters, but they look really good. And I remember seeing the graphics to the game. That looked really nice too. So yeah, we got some Titans figures. And everyone knows that the Nerd Block Company has a partnership with Titans Figures. I'm always a fan of them. They always do a really nice job on the head. They do a good sculpt on them. It's one of the few like vinyl figures that does like a really good job on the head sculpt. They're usually more simplistic because they're cheaper, but this is cool, and I always love to get exclusive figures. It's like one of my favorite things. So we got 2 figures from The Last of Us. That works. Next, looks like we got, I'm assuming, some candy. A Space Invaders. It looks like the old arcade box, and it looks like a coin bank. It's got a slot on there. Trying to... Nope, nothing in there. So it's just a little bank, a little tin here. Get the camera to focus. There we go. So it just looks like the old school arcade cabinet of Space Invaders. And yeah, that's just a bank. I assume there was candy in there, because there usually is in these things, but just a bank. That'll do. Alrighty. Let's see what else we got. And this, an Arcade Block exclusive, casino cards. Alright. This works out good for me, because this weekend I'm out of town, and that's why I won't be able to record my monthly review, and that's why I'll be behind. Looks like the classic Game Boy. And these are just, it's a deck of playing cards. And I actually needed a deck of playing cards, because... Focus. Focus. Come on. There we go. Sorry. I actually need a deck of playing cards, because the reason I'll be out of town is for a bachelor party. That's where I'll be. That's what I'll be doing, and I needed a deck of playing cards. I'm trying to open these up so we can see what they look like. But the box obviously is in the... Oh, there's a tab here. Damn it. The box is obviously in the classic Game Boy style. If any of you are old enough to remember that. Those big-ass bricks that we used to play with. That wasn't even, like, technically black and white. It was, like, yellow and black. Such a weird thing. But anyway, let's see what these cards look like. Hopefully they are cool. Get them out, damn. Oh, nice, okay. So I can see right off the bat, we got the Joker here, and it's got like the Duck Hunt dog on there. So I'm assuming it's like classic Nintendo characters. There's like a gem, which it looks like it's from Legend of Zelda. Let's see what else, just scroll through these here. Yeah, so got Link right there, and then we got Zelda herself, and then we got, looks like Ganondorf, and, oh, Metroid. So yeah, so it looks like they picked some classic games. Samus, Zero Suit Samus. Yeah, I'm not going to go through every single one. Then we got Mario. Those are actually really cool. Very nice. And the backs of them are the arcade block symbol. Well, okay, alright, that's obviously they made them, so that's cool. That's really nice. The artwork on them is actually pretty cool, and I will totally use these this weekend. They actually did pretty... Oh, and this is cool too. When you look up close, like instead of having the normal suits, like you can see, like those are mushrooms, and yeah, the diamonds is little gems from Legend of Zelda, and I'm guessing this is hearts because they look like the little Metroid symbol there. That's cool. And what's the other one? Oh, and then the spade is the little Tanuki leaf from Mario. That's really cool. That's very clever. I like that. I like that a lot. So I'll use those, and they're cool, and they're nice and glossy. They did a good job. So that's really cool. This is one of the few instances where one of the boxes makes something themselves, and it actually turns out kind of well. Because usually when boxes make things themselves, like as in they don't get licensing, they just kind of make things to that aren't branded, usually doesn't turn out that well. It usually turns out kind of crappy. Even from this company, it just usually doesn't turn out that well. But you know, that's pretty cool. And I will use those. Decks of cards show up pretty often in boxes. I wouldn't say a lot of the time, but I've gotten at least a dozen decks of cards just from boxes. And you can only use so many. I just happen to need one right now, so I'll use that one. But I do like the artwork on them. One good thing about decks of cards is they typically have really cool artwork on there, which is appreciated. I really like that. Alrighty, let's just pull out the last, looks like the last two items. This just looks kind of like an advertisement, maybe like a little gift card type of thing for G2A.com. It says 3 USD, so it kind of looks like a $3 gift card for this website. Whatever. Then, looks like we got a patch here from Street Fighter V. Cool. So everyone knows this game is coming out, I don't know if I'd say soon, but yeah, pretty soon. That comes out pretty soon. And, you know, it looks good. It's another Street Fighter game. It's a very popular following, so that's cool. And then we got, it looks like a Space Invaders. Looks like a pad of paper. Let's open it up. Hold on. Dum-de-dum. Dum-de-dum. Yeah, that's just pad paper. So, the first paper has a little picture on it, but the rest of them are just blank. So we just got a little pad of paper, just some filler stuff there. So, that's all the items in the box. I think the rest were just advertisements. Yeah, just advertisements and a piece of cardboard. So let's take a break, and then we'll come back for part 2 of my video, our review. Then we'll give it some numbers, give it some value, and I'll do a little research and find out more info on all these items, and then we'll talk about it. See you soon. Alright, we are back. So let's give these items some value and give the box a rating. So, the shirt, I feel stupid because the shirt is from a game called Just Cuz. Number 3. It says it on there. I thought that was like a joke or a reference, some kind of crossover. That's just the name of the game. I'd never heard of that game before. I'd never heard anything about it. Looked it up. I mean, it looks cool. It looks interesting. Very current. So, that's something that a lot of these boxes are going to struggle with, like an arcade block. Most people know the common, generic arcade characters like Nintendo, classic Nintendo, Sega, stuff like that. But when you get more current, the market is much narrower. For example, I'm not technically in that market. I'm not always up to date with games. They look very cool, but I just don't constantly have time to try out new games. So that's not specifically for me, but that's just my opinion. But in general, I think this is still a good shirt. It represents something specific. It's not a crossover. So I'm going to give this a 6.5 because, you know, it's not for everyone. I'm sure most people have probably heard of this game. Most people getting this box would probably know what this game is. But, you know, maybe not everyone likes it. It's still a good design, though. 6.5 is still a good score. So I think that's right about reference. But anyone who's played the game can tell me if it's any good, and we'll go from there. Then we got our Titans figures. So these rarely have an increase in value. NerdBlock puts out a lot of them. They've done partnerships and they put out a lot of figures. The only problem with Titans is they don't always pick the best franchises. They always pick well-known franchises, and they pick ones that are pretty popular, but they just don't always pick the best. And I don't know if that's intentional or they just can't get rights to it, but they're just recently breaking into video games, which is cool. But for the most part, it's mostly strictly been sci-fi. All their figures have been sci-fi for the most part, and it's mostly sci-fi TV. But I'm glad they're breaking into video games, but Titan still has not gained enough traction where there's a ton of collectability there. They make great figures and a lot of people collect them, but they're not as well known as Funko or Kid Robot or a lot of the other companies. They're just still trying, kind of like, getting their head above water here. So when they appear in the boxes, there's so many of them, and a lot of people don't want them, so most people resell them, which hurts the resale value. That being said, the value on this is going to be about 15 to 20. You can find a lot of auctions on eBay and online and stuff like that. People selling for 15, maybe even less, because a lot of people just don't want them. But I have to be fair here, and the figures of this size sold individually, their blind boxes, usually sell for at least $10 a piece. So something like this I could see retailing in the store from somewhere between $15 and $20, and I think that's honestly what it's worth. They're good figures, and it's exclusive. I think they're nice, and I think 15 to 20 is a fair value on that. Then, our cards. These are very nice. They're very nice cards. They did a very good job on them. I like them. But decks of cards are almost always going to be right around $10. Doesn't really matter how rare or exclusive they are. The value just doesn't really go up much at all. Sometimes it'll go up to like 12, but right around $10 for this. They're good cards, but decks of cards just don't go for that much. There's not a lot of collectability because they're just very commonly made. So right around $10 on that. Then, our little tin. This will be about 5 to 7, and I think that's honestly a little bit generous because it is literally just a tin. There's no candy in it, there's no prize or anything, and it's a bank, which, you know, not too many people really use, like, coin banks anymore. And even if you do, you're probably not using one this tiny because that just really doesn't hold that much change in it. But, you know, it's still nice. You can put it on display if you wanted to, but even a 5 to 7 value I think is a little more than it's worth, but that's how much it's been listing for online, so I guess I'll give it that 5 to 7. Then, our little patch. This doesn't come in any special packaging, but it is branded. It is actually from Capcom. It is their logo. So a patch of this size would probably go for around $4 to $5. If it came with like better packaging or something, maybe a little more, but you can find this online for next to nothing. You can find auctions and stuff for like $1 for it, but I think to be fair, I'll give it 4 to 5 because it is actually a very nice patch if you wanted to use it. Then, our pad of paper. This I'm going to give a $2 to $3 value on because it literally is just a pad of paper. There's nothing special about it. I could see something like this at like the dollar store or at Target in the dollar section. They always have like random pads of paper that are in like cute little shapes and stuff like that. This really isn't any different. Even though it is exclusive, that doesn't really help it at all. And I was looking at the card, and I think pretty much everything from what I saw, yeah, everything in this box is exclusive. So that's pretty nice. You know, we also have the little gift card here. It's not a gift card, but it's just like a coupon code type of thing. It's $3 off your next visit to buy a game off this website, which is g2a.com. I usually don't give these any value. It's not technically a game code. It's just a coupon code, and I have a hard time giving any value to that because it's only worth something if you're going to use it. So, alright, I thought I'd mention it, but I'm not giving that any value. That being said, on the low end, this box is at $48. On the high end, $60. So, right what we'd expect. The same price almost always. Right around that $50, maybe $60 range, depending on how you value it. So, they're pretty much always on the money with that value, which is very good. So, I appreciate that. So, it got a good value, but as far as a rating, I'm going to give this box a 7 out of 10. Because they did have all exclusive stuff, but that, like I said a million times, that word just doesn't hold as much meaning as it used to. So, you get exclusive stuff. All that means at this point is you're not getting any duplicates. You're not getting things you have, which is great. That's what you'd expect from a box. But as far as the items in here, they're all good, but they're not super, I don't know how to say it. It's not that they're not great, and they're not super practical, I kind of guess, but because Titans figures, they're great, they're good figures, but I can't imagine there being a big following for people to collect figures from The Last of Us. Seemed like a popular game, seemed like cool, but I can't imagine a lot of people would want those figures. And like I said about the tin, not super useful, it's just kind of there. The pad, deck of cards, could use them, but again, they come somewhat commonly. Patch was fine, the shirt was fine too, but you know, not the most, I don't think everyone would get that reference, me being included, so everything was good, but but nothing quite like blew me away or hit home by it. 7 out of 10 is still a really great score though. It's still pretty high up there. And that's still a good box. It's still worth the money. You still got great value. I think you'd enjoy everything in here. You just might not have been like in love with anything in here. And that's why I'd give it a 7 out of 10. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought and maybe the value will change for the monthly review. Anyway, so this is going to be the last one for the monthly review. I'm going to have to take a short break because like I said, I'm going out of town. I don't even know if I'll get this video posted before I have to leave town. So we're going to be a little bit behind, but stick with me and we'll work it out. And I'll try to get through the monthly review as quick as possible to not waste any more time. But again, that video takes a long time to edit, so, well, I'm just going to do the best I can here. I'm doing what I can. Anyway, this has been Arcade Block, shirt 6.5 out of 10, box 7 out of 10. See you guys in the monthly review and in next month, and hopefully I can get caught up so I can do more other videos like weekly roundups and art and things like that, because I know you guys want to see that too. So I'm working hard to make that happen. Anyway, thank you all for watching. See you in the next video. Love you all. Peace.